Hey everybody, I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious podcast, the show that is pitching the concept that perhaps mediumship is a portal
into a better universe.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Cue the deep voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe some people are like little guardians of the galaxy, are serving at the portal door.
Or opening it up for the rest of us, like Miss Lauren Nichols, who we have on today. She's so awesome. We just fell in love with her over and over and over again, and we're so excited for everybody else to talk to her too. She's a psychic medium. She is a channeler. She's done paranormal investigation. She works for the federal government, and she's a mama.
Yeah, and my face hurts from the delight. There was just so much delight in the last hour, so get ready.
I think I may have told her she needs to write a book and run for office and save us all.
And I think you were right. So
yeah.
See for yourself, friends.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Lauren. It's so nice to have you with us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I absolutely can. It's a pleasure to be here with you both. Thank you for having me. Just a tiny bit about myself so we can get into the meat of the discussion. I am a psychic medium in the Boston, Massachusetts area. I've been practicing since about 2019. Started prior to on paranormal investigation side, doing spirit photography and dabbling in that way initially, and kind of came into my mediumship after 2019. And my entire MO is helping to raise the standard of mediumship, to help bringing mediumship down to earth and to help make it more accessible, demystify it, and to help people know that they have this intuitively within themselves. And that is really me in a nutshell, other than the fact that I have an 18-month-old who is developing me in other ways as well.
Yes, they do. Yes,
well, we're both medium mamas, so we totally get that.
I feel like walloped might be another way to say it.
Yeah, walloped is definitely.
But yes, developed is beautiful.
Kind way to put it.
2019, I feel like that was the year a lot of mediums came online.
Including you. I wonder,
we need to get an astrologer on here to look at that for us, Jane, at some point.
Totally.
If anybody out there is listening and knows the astrology, what was going on in 2019 when all these mediums came online. But that's so interesting that's when you came online, Lauren. But it was paranormal investigation that led you there? You were taking spirit photos?
It was, as crazy as it sounds. And I mean, I still actively do it, so I'm not going to knock it.
But tell us all about that.
There's a lot to it. So I didn't realize what I was doing was actually a type of physical mediumship at the time. And I now have a definitely deeper sense of what I was doing and where I was being led to. But the very long story short of it is I moved up to Massachusetts. It was a very tough time in my life, no support system. Like many of us, when we go through kind of this spiritual awakening and knowing, we have kind of our lowest lows that happen. And that's what happened to me. And so I found myself going into graveyards and just walking around to find peace. And I didn't know at the time, but I was being kind of claircognizantly guided to just snap some pictures. And it wasn't just of the history of the tombstones. It wasn't as interesting as that. It was just, I felt like I needed to take a picture at certain times. And I honored that and did it. And in doing so and reflecting back, and this continued over the course of, about a year and a half to 2 years, I was dabbling with this. It was very weird. I had people calling me, my friends calling me obsessed with death. When I wasn't obsessed with death, but I was sort of just fascinated by the peace of what was happening and the experiences I was having. But I was getting full body apparitions. And I'm not talking little orbs or lens flares that happen where, it's the sun and someone sees a reflection. They're like, oh my God, there's two orbs here. And you're like, actually, that's just refraction from your lens. But lens, okay, whatever you want to believe, that's fine. Whatever gets you to a place of calm. But this was sort of my experience, my foray really into it. And then I had signed up in kind of a fit of madness to a bunch of different paranormal investigation teams in the area because, hey, I'm in Boston and there's a lot of activity here. And again, long story short, I settled upon a team that was science first because I was trying to debunk for myself. And as a lot of us do. And in the process of doing that, actually had more and more experiences because I was opening up myself more as what happens with our mediumship, and had physical experiences, physical manifestations. And then kind of realized at that point that all of the hoopla that I had learned in Hollywood about the paranormal was all just a falsity, and it was all a scare tactic. And that actually what was really paranormal was just connecting with someone's grandmother. And the bumps on the wall or the kind of dishes flying were, in my experiences, this is just true to my experience. Obviously, everyone has different experiences. But it was more of just a desire to communicate more than anything else. And then that kind of led into me furthering my research into it and understanding of it, and blossomed from there. So very long-winded answer there.
No,
I
not
love
at
that
all.
foray into mediumship.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that entry point, but we can ask a quick question.
Really?
Pick me. So you're saying, and this is something we've never discussed, so I'm so excited to talk just for a second. You're saying when people throw dishes and knock on the walls and all that kind of like poltergeisty stuff, that's just a spirit being like, dude, I need to talk to you.
So in the experiences that I've had, and also just from what I've learned in talking to other mediums and getting kind of a consensus. So a lot of the kind of fearful activity, the activity that for a lot of people causes them to seek out a paranormal team to go into the home. Yeah. It's generally just, it can be residual energy. There's many different types of energy. It could be residual, intelligent. There could be a loop haunting if it's sort of a traumatic experience that's happened in the house. But if it's intelligent where they're interacting with the environment, then it generally is. I'm not saying always, because we don't know definitively. We can never say definitively. But it's usually just a request for communication. And it's a lot of energy tied to that. And that has been my experience. And that has, for me and for the people that I've communicated over this with, has kind of helped to reframe these, what a lot of times we view as scary experiences, because it's not in our control, but there are these things happening around us. You know, our physical safety feels like it's impacted. Right. It becomes reframed into a sort of an opening of curiosity and of leading us to a place of more just empathy and warmth for what's happening, which tends to change the nature of what is happening. And so that's been my experience with that. There are, I think, people that have other experiences. I think a lot of it comes from where your mindset is and what wavelength you're coming at it from too. So that'll say.
Yes.
Wow. I feel like you have a book that you need to write about this, Lauren.
That's my social media. That's what I've been using it for.
Like, I feel like I'm getting like, you need to put this out there, because what you're saying is so succinct, and it's very direct, and it is very soothing. I think I do feel like a lot of people like to be scared, you know, to be terrified about ghosts and spirit stories. But what you just said right here, I think, is very soothing to people who are very sensitive and may not understand how spirit works.
I agree, fully agree with that. And that's been my experience, where there are certain people who are adamant that it's evil, that it's all evil, all spirit, as we've experienced, right? All communication with spirit is evil, and so on and so forth. And you're never going to convince those people, because they have their own preconceived notions, by their own biases and conditionings, and they like the fear factor. It also, there's a subculture of that in the paranormal side too, where, you know, they have an identity that they're holding on to, and that's okay. That's their journey, or at least their season of life that they're in. But for those that are highly sensitive, and especially those that are kind of living in or visiting places that might have an energy that feels heavy, being curious about what that energy is actually asking and being empathetic towards that can go a really long way in learning more about the history of the place, about the people themselves, viewing them actually as people versus spirits. It changes it changes our entire view of even the spirit world, which can help to reduce the stigma also.
That's amazing. I love the feeling that you're projecting there, where you're like, you're changing the temperature of the room. Like your intention and your curiosity and your warmth literally takes it from that cold, creepy to warm. And then the engagement can happen on a totally different place. That's rad. I've never heard it discussed that way. So I'm super into it. Thank you. This is really cool. This is really cool.
I do it in my own home. We have a very active home, and I have boundaries, of course. It's important for us all to have boundaries, but it is, I've got a kind of a joking, fun relationship with those in my home. For that reason, it's not scary. It isn't scary for me, because I have a curiosity about them.
Do you have an older house? Do you have a house with history? Okay.
I do. We actually, our property is on the Underground Railroad, a route for the Underground Railroad. Wow. And our home, this was farmland back at the time. So they would traverse this farmland, the land itself, to get to an area. Right.
Wow.
So there is history here. This home has had many iterations, but the current home as it's standing is built in, like, I think it was 1928 or around there. So old for us, Californians and former Floridians. It's new in Massachusetts.
Yeah, brand new.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask a silly question? Are there like 4 main ones that you talk to? Or are there more?
So there's probably like, I'd say 2 to 4 main ones that I do talk to. Okay. There are more through a separate physical mediumship practice that I have at my own home. So there's a lot. This home has a lot of energy in it. I'm going to be the one to blame for that, though.
That rabbit hole just appeared. I'm sorry. I know we can go back to, like, there's so much more to talk to you about, but cool. Thank you.
So you were talking about, like, bringing this vibration to what you're looking at for those who are terrified, because I've had conversations with people like, do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in entities? And there's so much fear around it. What advice do you have for people that are super freaked out and scared?
So I think the first thing I always try to do, and this is part of what I try to do just as a medium and trying to get people to understand how close mediumship is to us, is, and this is my experience. Again, I preface all of this with that, because we all have our unique experiences. But in my experience, I think changing the label of what we're experiencing from entity to person goes a really long way in helping us to have a better relationship and a better regard for the experiences that we're having. Because when we humanize it, then we then can relate more to it, and we can then be more curious about it. So for those, I think, that are more nervous about the interactions with it, I think it is that reframing that has to happen, where when you view it in your mind as something that is foreign, or even if you label it as energy, you're doing yourself and them a disservice, because you're not giving them the credit of being human first and foremost. And I personally have never had experience with what I would call entities, but I have had experiences, as I think we all have as mediums, with grumpy or maybe unfriendly folks in spirit, and they're going to behave in spirit as they did in the living. And especially if they have, unresolved grief and their own needs that they're trying to come across and potentially get support for, or just have a conversation around. Totally. So I think that reframing is really important. And that can help, again, that humanization of it can help us then to inject empathy, which is a very human trait, and can really allow us to soften ourselves to it and to remove the fear. I mean, fear, as we know, is just something that we generate within ourselves, and we pick up from other things like Hollywood and so forth. So it's not necessarily ours. I don't think we're born with that fear of spirit. I think that's developed over lots of conditionings over time.
Yeah. So what do? You mentioned boundaries. How do you secure your own boundaries in your house, your busy house?
So I guess the way it's hard to describe, but to put words to it, what I generally do is I make it very, very clear that when I don't want to communicate and when I don't want to have that sensory input around me, that I need to be respected. I simply just say, I'm not available at this time. Mm-hmm. When I go to bed at night, I don't want to feel, I don't want to know, I want to be able to tune out because I'm an insomniac, like a lot of us mediums, and I don't need anything more to distract or cause more issues. So like bedtime is quiet
that a
time.
medium thing?
I think it is, I swear. It's just a human thing.
Yeah.
Well, we both just came on here saying we hadn't slept last night. So.
Yeah.
I think it's also a current situation thing with this world.
Yeah, there's a lot of things driving that. You're right.
Going on.
But I think so that's how I do it. And then the other boundary I have is with my son. And this is more just my own, like, listen, there is a bubble in my son's room. Do not cross that bubble. That is his space. Let him experience as he wants to experience, but don't cross that bubble.
Nice.
That's a good bubble really to have. Yeah.
It's just communicating because I, again, want him to have a more gentle experience with it. And I want him to be at a point where he can use his words to articulate anything he's experiencing. So, there's power in that.
So how old's your little guy? He's 18 months?
He is 8. Well, actually, he's 19 months. I misspoke. This is what happens when you're
about a year and a half.
He's 19.
Yeah.
Close.
I think that's the threshold from moving from being a baby into being a toddler. Which is a whole other cup of tea.
He's forever baby, though. I'm going to call him. I know that as all mothers do. I know that there's high school mom here.
I have a big, giant 6'2" baby.
Yeah.
I was just calling him, hey, what's up, baby? How you doing?
Forever baby.
Forever baby. Yeah.
I call him little one, and it's hilarious. I'm like, he's 6 foot. And I'm like, oh, okay, little one.
It's probably like, Mom.
I don't know. As long as there's no one else around, he doesn't seem to mind it.
He's probably like, more. Yes, I am your baby.
I'm your little baby, little one.
So how's that been for you, the transition into motherhood and how that relates to your mediumship or your spirituality?
So it's multifaceted, as we know. And I think it's probably the hardest struggle for me in balancing motherhood and mediumship is really understanding my identity through it, where I'm both of these things, but they're two totally different worlds. And there's really not a lot of insights online. There's not a lot of sharing from other mothers who are also mediums, individuals who came into mediumship and then their motherhood, especially where you're really navigating this, I've got this calling, I have this pull, I need to be of service. But I have this little one whose entire survival, an entire world is based upon my presence. And you've got two competing needs for presence. And so reconciling that has been a big challenge. And I am someone I'm a big student of mediumship. I will forever be a student of mediumship. And I think that's been my biggest gripe with the mediumship world is that there really isn't this area. There's a lot of women that are mediums and across the ages. And there's really not a lot of insight into how to navigate this and be patient with yourself and give yourself grace. Not that it's one size fits all, but it's helpful to sort of have guideposts as you're navigating, especially new motherhood. So where I am now with it is I've kind of come to the realization I had paused my mediumship for a while to tend to being a mother and figuring this all out. And then where I'm at now is really just, I've learned to restructure my life and my time. And I think that sort of structure is going to help my mediumship. It's going to help my mothering. It's going to be helpful across the board. So I'm still in it. I'm not saying that I've mastered anything yet, but navigating it. And it's a journey. It's definitely a journey for all of us. But I'd say so far, he's helped me significantly with my mediumship from what I've seen so far. And it's a blessing in and of itself. So it's been really neat to see.
Did you feel connected to him before he came around? Yeah. Tell us about it. That's the cool part of being a medium first. And then having this newly embodied soul present in your life.
It is such a unique experience. And I appreciate you asking that because it is a novel experience for mediums, and it's a blessing to be a mother and a medium, partly for that reason too. So for me, we went through IVF. We talked about perimenopause earlier. Hello. And so went through IVF. Everything was planned. And I did the night before we did our embryo transfer. I had a dream. It was a spirit visitation dream, without a doubt. And of course, first thing in the morning, wrote it down, where I was placed into a room, and they did an ultrasound of me. I met one of my spirit guides at the time, a new spirit guide during that dream, which was utterly beautiful. And I was told, I had convinced myself in my mind that I was having a girl. This is what I had told myself prior to, because I wanted, I'm not going to say I wanted a girl, but I had an expectation that came from my mind since childhood. I wanted a doll to dress up.
I have 3 kids because I had 2 boys and then a girl. I get it.
It's right.
I get it.
Waiting and waiting. I mean, they're all fantastic, but but I had convinced myself in my mind that I was having a girl. I had connected in with this energy prior to all of this, but I had the dream the night before, and I was told, you're having a boy, right? And I woke up and I was like, there's no way. And then lo and behold, 12 weeks later, find out, oh my God, that dream, it was right. So, but prior to that, I was having dreams about him in prior lives, which was absolutely fascinating. And I wrote those down as well as, we write down, especially the spirit visitation dreams, but I do have a little insight into who he was prior to coming into my world, which is pretty neat. Really
Do
neat.
you feel like you had experiences with him in previous lives?
I do. I'd say on that front, I know that his prior life was without me, because it was relatively recent from what I, perceived. But I do feel I know just within my bones and through doing this work, I know that absolutely we travel in soul groups, and I know that he's part of mine. I haven't connected in on those lives that we've connected in together. And that's just me not doing it, me not sitting for that because of time. But yes, I know we have, and I know that we've had sort of role reversals in prior lives. I just haven't gone into the depth of that yet.
Yeah. What's so funny? I wasn't a medium yet, but I did talk to my child before he got here. We wrote letters. So for like every week or something, I would channel a letter from him, but I thought it was a girl too. I was convinced. So in my mind, I was talking to her, but there was never any kind of indication one way or the other. I was just so mentally convinced. And then when I got that word, I was like, that's weird. That's just weird. What? There's a what? You know what I mean? But then, of course it ends up being like super wonderful and it's all great. It was just, it's a funny thing that I had the same exact experience. I was like 100% sure. And then I'm like, gender's a lie anyway. Whatever.
When we found out that my firstborn was going to be a boy, I'm one of 3 girls and my mom has a sister. My mom says to me, oh, we'll have to get a book. We don't know anything about boys. Nope. It was such a shock.
Trial by error.
Such a shock. But I gotta say, I love boys. I love teenage boys. I love middle school boys, cool. Elementary school boys, toddler boys.
They're fast.
They're fast.
Oh, big feeling. They're so fast.
They're so
My son goes fast to show fast. I'm like, you're very fast, yes. Everything.
Oh, is that sign language? Were you doing ASL? Oh, I didn't know that. Fast. Oh my gosh, we did ASL too because he would not talk. So up until about 2+ years, we did all signs, but I didn't know fast because he didn't go fast.
Yeah. Chill baby.
Yeah, it was super chill. He still is. But I love that sign. Fast.
He does it all the time. Like, yep. Toddler baby. You are a toddler baby, incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Speed.
Yeah, I had 2 of the fast ones where it was just harrowing. I understand people who put leashes on their kids.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times, I remember being, in a store just having had my second baby strapped to me, and I saw my 3-year-old go running by, and then I saw my mom go running by after him. And then I'd see him streak by somewhere else, and then I'd see my mom go running after him.
Oh my Lord.
And just be like, I don't know what I'm going to do when she leaves.
She
I have
can't
no
leave.
idea.
Sorry, Canada's not. Oh my gosh. Well, that question you asked earlier, Sarah, was really great. And I wonder if we can just go a little deeper. So yeah, I was a mom and then a medium, other than having whatever, chatting to him, but I wasn't like practicing at all. I was just like, whatever, living. So would you say that mothership has changed your mediumship, like your experience of connecting?
It has, yeah. So I can definitively say prior to giving birth, I, like a lot of mediums, especially those that are, ones that have not gotten over their perfectionism, ones that haven't released that, can't be perfect. You cannot be perfect as a medium. You can't seek for perfection. It doesn't exist.
No. It doesn't work out.
You'll always be chasing it. It doesn't work. And you're trying at that end. And when you try, you fail. The more you try, the less you do. So
true.
What I've experienced is, so the whole journey prior to, I was trying to be the best medium I could be. I was trying to advance myself. I was trying. Since having him and since connecting in, what has shocked me, and I never would have predicted that this would have been a product of becoming a mother, is that I can't say I don't care about my mediumship, because that's not true. Yeah. But I have released that I have found more enjoyment and more ability to relax in my mediumship, partly because I have been through survival mode in early motherhood, and I've been through that heightened state. And I think that my body is so fried from that. I'm like, I don't need to be there again. I don't like how that feels. This isn't how I feel my best. And this isn't where I am my best. And I can connect in and offer myself as being service. And so he has really helped me to really be able to do more with less, which has been a really exciting change in my mediumship, where I don't put so much stock in what I'm doing. I just trust. And becoming a mother, you really just have to trust your instincts. You have to trust so much with motherhood. And it's not that different from mediumship, but it opens your mediumship up, if you're open to it, in a lot of ways, because you really, once you've been in the survival mode and you've come out of it, and you again learn to trust yourself and learn to trust that you're capable, everything else is just small beans, and you just have to be present for it at the end of the day.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah,
thank you, Lauren. That was really beautiful. Yeah. Baby bottle that right up.
So much truth in that. There really, truly is. Like that it's just this ultimate state of surrender. And I mean, I definitely feel that as a parent, the more I can surrender into my children's experiences, trusting that what they're experiencing, they're meant to, rather than trying to control the outcome and control them. Yeah. I mean, that is definitely applicable to mediumship, and that need to surrender to spirit in order to receive.
Oh my gosh, you guys, y'all, ladies, y'all are changing me. I can feel it. It's like my whole body is changing right now. This is
Well, Jane, so Lauren, Jane and I right now are in a platform perfection course with Lauren Robertson. And we in the beginning of that, we give shares about our wins and about things that were hard for us. And this past week, it was more or less just a group of women, and a lot of us are moms. And one of them brought up the realization that, hey, I don't have to have everything in my life perfect in order for me to be a medium. I have realized that it's not ever going to be perfect, that I just need to show up as I am in that moment and trust that I can make that connection to spirit. And she brought that to this group, and that really resonated for me because I'm never feeling perfect. It's just not happening. Yet I still want to serve spirit. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you just reiterated that in such a beautiful way that can be so helpful to other mediums who are moms.
Well, anyone in this earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to be able to relax a body. I mean, that seems like a high bar right now to be relaxed enough.
I think we take ourselves, especially our work, especially in this sort of environment that we live in the Western society where everything is output, output, output. And we put so much pressure on ourselves. And especially as women, there's a lot of pressure on us in every facet of our life. And so I think one key thing, and I know we know this as mediums, but the more you can just invite yourself to just be present for life, not try to control it, not try to force it, just be present for it. The more you invite in joy, the more you invite in all of the things that we're supposed to experience on every end of the spectrum. And just to observe it, notice it, let it in if we need to, let it go if we don't. We really allow ourselves to develop more in that process. And it's, motherhood is a huge catalyst for that realization.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So wait, Lauren, can we talk about your day job? Do you still have that?
Of course. I think I still have it right now. So
oh, cool.
See what happens going forward. But yes.
Oh no.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah, we lost your mic. Oh dang. Mercury's not quite in retrograde, but it's close enough to mess with us. That's happened a few times. She kind of keeps getting flipped off. That's going to make editing a bummer.
No.
That's okay.
It's funny. I hear static. I hear.
Yeah, it's just her mic is flipped to her computer for a second. Sometimes spirit gets so. This has happened before, actually, where we lost Sarah altogether. Her computer went offline.
It's the joy of mediums getting together. Oh,
that's it.
It's comical.
There she comes. Oh, there she is. Are you here?
I think I'm back on track.
Oh yeah, I can hear you. You sound great.
Yeah. No. So Lauren, sometimes when the energy gets really high and we got lots of medium juice going, yeah, it does.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a part. It's sensitive to medium energy.
Yeah. My computer. So we had a recording with another incredible woman, and she was talking about invoking our spirit animal, and I felt it went through my computer and it fried it. And my computer's not the same. It's still not the same.
Still not the same.
Every single time I turn my computer on now, it flashes lights, and it's
so Scruffy just went crazy in the computer. Oh my God.
Pretty much. It's
And we just kept recording because I was like, I don't know if she's going to make it back.
I joined back in on my phone. My computer was toast. I had to reboot the whole thing. Yeah.
When people say that we aren't just blobs of energy, I don't think they appreciate what it's like when mediums get together and this kind of stuff that happens. Here's evidence. Yeah. Everything shuts down.
It just starts to arc, the energy starts to. Yeah. Okay, back to ground, ladies. Back to ground.
Okay. Yeah, let's just do that really quick. Let's just ground ourselves really quick and tell the tech to behave. Okay, grounding the tech. Yeah. All right, tech.
Be good. I mean, respectfully, I invite you to behave differently.
We bow down to you. Whatever you mean.
Whatever you want, babe. Where were we? Does anyone remember?
Asking Lauren about her day job.
Oh, yeah, day job.
Oh, yes, day job. Good memory. Oh, my God. Again, motherhood. Your brain gets fried. Everything else gets better. But yeah, so I work for the U.S. government. I've been in that role since 2013. Wow. And I have survived so far. So, I mean, barely, but I've survived. It's definitely a contrast to this work that I do. That's for sure.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So what's your take on everything collectively that we're going through as a culture, as a country? Can you bring your mediumship perspective, your spiritual perspective to that at all?
I can. And I definitely, so I pride myself on as someone who I am a medium. We all channel and we all channel in different ways, but I definitely feel that I came into this life, pursued this ridiculous role of being with government at this time, in this timeline, all of that for a reason. And I do feel that, combining my expertise with my ability to channel, that I have kind of gleaned some insights. And what I do feel that's happening right now, and I think a lot of us we're kind of all saying the same thing, is that there is a collective reckoning that is happening. There are systems that simply have not served humanity, that we're not, I can't say meant, because there's no such thing as something that's meant for humanity. We're here to have experiences. That's what this whole world is about. That's what life is about. But these are experiences that aren't supportive of our progression as a collective at the end of the day. And a lot of these systems are detrimental to that growth towards unity, towards compassion, towards all the things that, I'm not religious, but like the Christ consciousness directs us towards, right? And so I think what's happening now is that there is a reckoning. We're in the middle of what I would call a type of battle. But I think ultimately, keeping the government aside, I think what's happening on the population level, and this is the thing that's been most fascinating to me, is that people are starting to realize that identity politics, they aren't healthy. They're not conducive. They don't do anything to serve us. And that's step one of us getting through this evolution. It's us as a collective realizing that we're a collective and that our differences that we feel are maybe not ours. They were fed to us externally. We have kept them internally for longer than we were meant to keep them. And that it might be time for us to really dissolve those. And then from there, see ourselves as really in unity against these systems that simply oppress and aren't serving us. So they're incredibly difficult times. I think the challenge that we're facing right now is a lot of people are caught up in their privilege. And they're not willing to acknowledge the privilege, because that's a slippery slope. You have to acknowledge a lot in acknowledging that privilege. And so I think we're in this period now where there's a lot of pressure to do that. And that's, on social media, there's a lot of, why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you doing that? And it's all in everyone's good time. However, there is a lot of truth to that, because the way that we will move forward in this evolution is by reconciling within ourselves our own privileges, seeing ourselves in our neighbors, and then from there attacking these systems that aren't serving us so that we can create new and rebirth as we need to. So it's the process of rebirth, and we're in the dying phase. Death is messy, but it's also an opportunity, as we know, as mediums, for a whole new life, a whole new experience to be gained. And we're in that stage right now. And so it's naturally going to be messy. And I feel that right now, the best thing that we can do through it is to work on dissolving these identities that need to die within ourselves, ultimately.
Will you run for office?
Oh God, the pressure. As a woman, God. If one day, my hope, mystics, as we know, and mystics and seers all kind of helped government and decades and decades and centuries prior. And there needs to be someone in office who is in tune with our higher purpose. But current situation, individuals, I think we've got a ways to go before we get that into office.
Pretty far off the map there.
Maybe another 1,000 years, hopefully sooner. But,
yeah, we do.
Yeah. But that was so beautifully said. And it's, and that kind of clarity is just super helpful. We've been obviously grappling here, even on our podcast, with like how to be in these times and how we serve and how we still parent and how, all the things that need to continue, yet it does feel like it's almost like time to stop everything and go fight. It's just a really confusing time, and it's really hard to navigate. But I loved what you said, because that responsibility, that self-responsibility, that clarity about what we have to own and how we need to step forward and have the courage to look within, but really, but not actually, but really, it's not just, your run-of-the-mill therapy. Like, we're going deep.
And I think that's where us as mediums really have an opportunity here. And I think that's where, we're here in this timeline, I think, for a reason. And I feel we have the skills about us because we have to do a clearing of ourselves in order to do our work.
Yes.
So we're really well suited to be able to actually use our voice for a greater good. The scary part is acknowledging the privilege and putting ourselves out there in that way. But I feel that it's kind of a beautiful thing to be a medium at this time, because we kind of have that responsibility to spirit, to be a voice of spirit and unity. And and to acknowledge just how real all of this is, and how we all have our duty in our corners of the world and our abilities to do it. But, I think as mediums, we have a lot of power in helping people to dissolve those identities within themselves.
Amen. Lauren for press.
Yeah, not to get too political.
I would vote for
you. What do you love most about being a medium? I mean, you speak so eloquently on the topic. I just want you to keep talking to me, even though we are starting to run a little low on time. But what do you love most about it? Like, even just on the individual level, because you've spoken really eloquently about the collective, but like, what's your favorite?
I feel like, God, there's so many things I love about it. But I feel like the thing that I love most about mediumship, both for myself, selfishly, and for everyone, is that it really helps to shed the fear of death, because we know that we don't die. And when you go through life not having that fear, you go through life with so much less fear in so many other areas of your life, and you are more free than to just be who you are, live authentically. So when you free yourself of the fear of death, you free yourself to be authentic. And that is the thing that I love about mediumship. And that's the thing, to me, that's part of the healing that I don't think is discussed enough about what we do as mediums. Is yes, of course, we're healing people, but what does that healing actually look like? And that healing is, of course, healing deep grief. But when you really boil it down, it's removing that fear of death from your sitter. And doing that over and over and over again just propagates that in the public when they really feel it, when you can bring their loved one to them and they're once again sitting in the room and they know definitively, this is my loved one. I feel them, or I can see them with your expressions, or I can hear them with the tone of your voice, however your mediumship manifests within yourself. But that, to me, is one of the most beautiful aspects of being a medium, is that we have this ability to help shed that fear of death, which is the fear that holds a lot of these oppressive systems in place.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Fear.
Whoa.
Yep.
What if?
What
if the mediums that finally take it all down?
Right? I think there is a timeline where that might happen. One can hope.
Yeah, you keep blowing my mind, Lauren. Thank you. That's amazing. I think we have time for like one more question, Miss Sarah. You got one in your pocket, sis? I know you do.
I kind of do. I want to ask you about spirit radio, because I've seen that on your Instagram. Can you tell us about that?
You mean this thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never, ever experienced one of those.
So it is fantastic. And this is going back, full circle moment, going back to what we were discussing about the physical mediumship side of kind of where I sit. And this kind of meshes with, I think, part of my calling, which still navigating, because there's a lot to it and a lot more practice that I need. But what effectively Spirit Box is it's a radio scanner, a frequency scanner. So just a device that scans the radios, different wavelengths. We know how wavelengths work. We're all connected via different wavelengths, right? but it scans the radio. It's connected to a Bluetooth speaker, and it's connected in this case there's a genius individual in the paranormal world that had plugged it into a noise gate and a reverb pedal, which are guitar related devices to help clear out the noise and static. And it's literally just this device that scans the radio and does so cleanly. And I connect in with my mediumship. I sit myself down and I just have conversations with spirit and whoever wants to come in. And it is physical mediumship, and it is accessible to everyone. And it is the most remarkable thing. I've heard my family has heard my grandmother's voice on it, which I've lost my mind over. I've heard my uncle, I've heard my own family. Actually, I mean, beyond just my, subjective mediumship experience, but objectively, and others can hear it. And this has been done actually. So it's called instrumental transcommunication, or ITC.
Yeah.
Right. We know about it. It's been around since prior to probably, but 1840s, Nikola Tesla was working on his, creations and had created a spirit box, or he didn't call it that, but it was effectively a radio that did the same thing that this does. And then there were others like Marconi and Edison who perfected that as well, their own versions of it. This has been going around for a long, long time. Any way that we can, and I think this is the beautiful thing about humans, is that we are so, we innovate technology and then we find new uses for technology. And spirit, being infinitely intelligent, knows that, okay, well, this is the way that humanity is moving. Let's work with this. Let's explore it. So what I find really fascinating is that there's a lot of people that talk about how physical mediumship is dead and how we've gone over to the sort of worlds of mental mediumship, since spiritualism was birthed and it's gone now to mental mediumship. I actually feel that, and I know this is contrary to the whole AI discussion where so many things can be spoofed and you can't tell what's real. But I personally believe that utilizing technologies like the spirit box and even bringing them into readings where it's live and people can auditorily hear their loved ones, unless, there are other obviously mediums that can, via physical mediumship, bring the voice into the room as well. But for those that can't do that, these types of devices can help support and bring more validity to the experience and provide just a different angle of healing. And spirit is there for it. They consistently, I have never not been able to connect with this device with loved ones or just with random people on the other side in general. And you can't spoof it. There's no way that you can doctor it. It is just live communication. And what I find absolutely beautiful about it is and this might be just a me thing, I don't know, but when I connect with it, when I am connecting with, and there's different vibrations that I can tell are connecting in. There's some that, say silly things and I just ignore them. Because if they're not on the wavelength that I want to be at, I'm not having a conversation with you. And when I say silly things, they're all spirit. But what's really interesting is when I'm connecting and I can tell it's a higher frequency, I always hear like piano. There's like an instrumental music in the background, like a piano tune.
Ooh, we just got huge chills.
Right? It is the most beautiful experience where I hear this music and this is scanning the radio. It's not picking up channels. It's not picking up songs, but I will hear this specific song, a tune. And then there's two people in particular that will come through that support me with this, and I can hear them. And the wisdom, the guidance that they share, it's so validating. And equally, if I want to do lazy mediumship where I just want to like loosely connect in, I can do that. And it helps me to continue bringing my awareness to spirit, helping myself to develop, helping them to develop as they sit with me through this, because it's a two-way street. So it's a really neat thing. And I think that there's a lot that can be said for using current technology, bringing it into mediumship and helping to not prove spirit, because that's not what we do, but help people experience spirit in, almost like a surround sound way, which is really neat. So I love it.
Oh my God. As you were talking about that, Jane, I was looking at your face. You were feeling all that too, right? Like I was just going, woo, chill.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, are they going to just, is it on? Are they going to just bust through right now?
Sometimes it turns on its own. And I'm like, is it actually plugged in? I'm like, is this turning on without being plugged in? What's happening? So it's neat.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Oh no. Well, I don't want to be done.
We'll just have to come. We'll have you back, Lauren.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to have you back, Lauren. Yeah, it's a delight.
We'll do
every word out of your mouth,
two.
I'm just like hanging on. I'm like, what is she gonna say next?
Yeah. But listen, just enjoy that time with your little boy right now, because I know, like, when other parents of like older children say it goes by so fast, you don't want to hear that, but not to like hold on to it in a way that feels like scarcity, but just know that you're not in it forever.
Yeah.
Like the sleepless nights, the exhaustion, the physical tiredness from chasing them, like they mature and they become cooler and cooler. And like, it's just all so much fun, but it does get easier.
That's super, super. And it's helpful to hear it from other moms who are mediums too, because I'm like, well, clearly you continued your practice. It didn't end you. You found a way to make it work. So that in of itself is like so validating and helpful for me, because I'm like, oh God, like I'm still trying to figure out the balance, but in my mind I haven't.
An 18-month-old is like so much work. And they're so adorable. And I told you this, they have to be, because they're so much work.
For survival.
Yes. Otherwise, you'd throw them out the window if they weren't just so adorable.
They throw themselves out too. They try to do
throw themselves out the window. Mine totally would have. Yeah. Windows closed.
My God. Yeah, exactly. Locked, deadbolt, and everything. But I just beyond appreciate that. And I'm glad to know too that like when they get to be a teenager, it's not the end of the world, because I've heard people who are doing scare tactics that say, oh God, just wait till they're teenagers. And I'm like, but aren't they your buddies at that point? Like, aren't they like your best friends?
So
I have 2 teenage boys and I adore them. They are like the coolest people ever. I just love them so much. It's so much fun.
I mean, the bathroom is disgusting, straight up.
The bathroom is disgusting, yeah.
But
they're just a husband. I can see that already. So I'm like, okay, just times 2.
Yeah, times 2. Only it's next level. Wait till you see. But this guy he's just so damn cool, and the stuff that comes out of his mouth is just like mind blowing. And sometimes I'll tell you, Lord, sometimes he'll be like, "Can you use your psychic powers to pick between this T-shirt and this T-shirt?"
Will he really?
Yeah,
that's a good son.
I know.
See, it's part of me wanted a daughter for that. I was like, ooh, because daughters, through the lineage, I'm like, I'll have a daughter and she'll be a medium. But if I have a son like yours who's receptive, jackpot, absolute jackpot.
Yeah. I feel it. I feel it for you.
Yeah. Wait until he starts talking. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Everything is car. Everything is car. Oh God. That's all he says.
Yeah, car.
I remember it was all modes of transport for like several years.
Yes. Mine is apparently very much anti-boat. We'll see what happens with that, but anything on wheels. Boats,
mine used to backseat drive. I'd stop at a stoplight and be like, go, just go. Be like, no, it's a red light. I can't.
Oh my God.
So
funny. Wow. So
well, let me see this. Like I said, and sadly we should go. And I want to just say thank you. And like, again, we'll just see you again soon, because I just can't handle it otherwise. All right.
Love that. Thank you both so much. Thanks for holding the energy too. I really appreciate it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thanks for the great conversation. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Very Soul is our sponsor for Medium Curious. Jane and I are both Very Soul mediums.
Oh, yes, we are. verysoul.com, y'all. Inspired by spirit, guided by love, and brought to life by mediums.